in the matchup with the Bengals going up against the Denver Broncos. Who do you have coming out on top and why?
So this is kind of the battle of some of the more inconsistent teams in the league. And I know that I said that about Philly and Washington as well. But I mean, both teams have legit had major upsides and then major downfalls. I believe Cincinnati is a more well rounded and better constructed team because they started off so well. And I believe that the talent of Joe Burrow can carry them to a victory. But I again, this is definitely a tough one. I've been thinking about how to make this decision on who I'm going to pick since we started kind of drafting up the script here. And I've been struggling because there are games where Teddy Bridgewater looks like he can manage a game very well, like last week. There are games like last week where Patrick Surtain and the rest of that defense with Justin Simmons and those boys look like they can lock up anybody. But then again, they played the Lions, so you have to understand that that's a whole different game. Um, but I gotta take Joe Burrow. I gotta have some faith that I think Joe Burrow is confident. I think he's a great leader. I think that Jamar Chase is a rookie of the year candidate. I think that that defense is slept on. Hendrickson has been or Hendrickson, the one from the Saints, the white guy number 91. I keep forgetting how to pronounce his last
Mm-hmm.
name.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he's been exponential. I believe he's got double digit sacks on the year. That was one of their big free agent acquisitions. And I just think that they're going to be able to make some noise. T. Higgins has been playing great. Tyler Boyd has always been great. The tight ends that they have out there in Cincinnati with CJ and I think Sample is his last name. But overall, I think they just need to figure out a way to protect Joe Burrow, which has been their biggest challenge all year long, is keeping him upright. And then getting Joe Mixon involved early to make sure that they establish that run game. But if I had to make a definitive decision, I got Cincinnati by 10 points. No, not 10 points. I will say 7 points.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting game just because this is really kind of a matchup of younger teams that are trying to make a name for themselves. So in this matchup, I'm actually going to favor the Denver Broncos in this one. And I think it's based off of the performance that they had last week. And, coming off of the surprise, sudden, tragic death of Demarius Thomas, I thought the Broncos came out last week. They played inspired football and they looked phenomenal from beginning to end in that game. I thought offensively, they were great with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. And then on the defensive side of the ball, like you mentioned, I mean, Patrick Surtain, Justin Simmons, and those boys, they played phenomenal, inspired football from beginning to end. And it was one of the best performances that I've seen Denver had the entire year. And I think that that type of motivation and just the momentum that they get from that performance last week, I think it's going to carry over into this one. Now, this is going to be kind of a good test for Denver because they are going up against a pretty solid Cincinnati offense that's capable of producing some big time dynamic plays. We've seen Joe Burrow light it up throughout his sophomore season so far, and I think he's done a pretty solid job here and there. And just the dynamic playmaking that he's had with T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, that can not go unnoticed. But I think by and large, I'm just going to favor Denver in this one because I think they're going to be able to get a solid day on the ground from Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon. I do like the fact that Melvin Gordon is utilized for different purposes. Not only can he run the ball effectively, he's a great back in the passing game. So I think if you utilize him for those type of plays, I think it'll be wonders for Denver. And as far as Teddy Bridgewater goes, look, Teddy can play solid football at the quarterback position. He doesn't need to light it up. He doesn't need to go out there and throw for 350 yards, 400 yards passing. But if he's efficient, if he's not turning the ball over and he's spreading the ball to his wideouts effectively, I think it'll be enough to get by Cincinnati. This game, I'm actually a little bit more confident in Denver than I've had in some of the other topics or the other games that we've covered. So I think when it comes to this matchup, I've got Denver winning this one by about 10 points in this one. As far as the score goes, I'm going to say Denver wins this one by the score of 30-20. I think just based off of the way that they played last week, I think it's going to carry over into this week. And I mean, with the way that Denver's playing, I'm pretty sure at this point that they're a team that I could consider a playoff team at this current moment in time. I know the record is in the mix as far as the other wild card teams that are trying to get a wild card spot goes, but I think that if they keep playing inspired football like they did last week and in certain moments of the season like they've had this year, I could definitely see them as a wild card team when it's all said and done. I think this win that I'm projecting for Denver is going to be a big one, and that would I think would be huge for Denver moving forward, going into the last couple weeks of the season.